We're also following for you right now. Police are searching for a suspect in a deadly North Philadelphia shooting. A 16-year-old was shot and killed near 23rd and Montgomery Avenue just before 9 o'clock last night. Investigators also say surveillance video shows an SUV speeding away from that scene. That SUV was later found nearby, but police have not been able to track down any suspects just yet.
Yeah. Oh, you think you bulletproof? Shit. Boss looked through his crib and he took off his roof. Before I book with you, he gon' come home cause they don't got no proof. I was in the cell, we spoke on 10 and then he lost 2. Had all that shit all in my crib, I would've made him choose. Left him slumped, they tucked him in that sheet, we like to see him snooze. He was with his folks when we popped out, we don't play by the rules.
In the heart of North Philadelphia, one of the most talked about names coming out the trenches in 2023 wasn't just a rapper. According to the police, he was allegedly a suspect in one of the city's most tragic homicides in 2023. His name, Lil Bape, known off the mic as Icer Clark. With over 30,000 followers and ties to a growing local movement, Solid Unity Records, Bape was pushing his way into the rap game alongside his close friend and fellow rapper HBN2418, also known as HBN Baby. Both came up in a neighborhood where the streets of 24th and Berks, often referred to as 2418, were more than just blocks. They were a piece of a larger collective known as Zoo Gang, or the Droppas. This crew stretches across multiple corners of North Philly, including well-known areas like Pentown, popularized by OT7 Kwani, as well as 23rd and Diamond, 20th and Montgomery, and 25th Street. Zoo Gang's presence is heavy, and their rivalry with a group known as the Black Flags runs deep. That opposing side mainly comes out of the Blumberg Apartments, Richard Allen Projects, and 18th and Oxford. The tension between these two groups has led to an ongoing war that's been felt across the city. The two groups had been locked in a bitter feud for years. By 2022, the war between Zoo Gang and the Black Flags had reached a boiling point. Then, on May 26, 2022, the violence exploded once again when one of Zoo Gang's top shooters was gunned down, this time in broad daylight, sending shockwaves through the streets and reigniting.
Yo, niggas in Philly don't give a fuck. They'll catch a hat, bro. It could be a cop on the corner, nigga walking their kids from school. They don't care. Nigga will put belt to ass.
Tensions that had already been boiling for years. Around 2:01 p.m., officers responded to the 1600 block of West Erie Avenue in Philadelphia's Nicetown Tioga section for reports of gunfire. When they arrived, they found a 20-year-old Wesley Rodwell suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Medics pronounced him dead at the scene just minutes later at 2:08 p.m. The victim was known on the streets as Burke Street Man, and his murder sent shockwaves through the city. Just 4 days earlier, Man had released a diss track aimed directly at the Black Flags, a track many on the street would go on to call one of the most disrespectful diss tracks in Philadelphia history. Within hours of the shooting, rumors began to swirl. The Black Flag claimed responsibility almost immediately, bragging online that they took his head off his body. Man and Lil Bape were close friends and his death hit Bape hard. Police scrambled to identify a suspect, but the case quickly went cold. It stayed that way until April 2024, when a known Black Flag affiliate named Blumberg Erd was officially named as the suspected shooter. He was placed on Philadelphia's most wanted list in connection with the homicide. As of today, Erd remains a fugitive. But the ops weren't the only ones doing the killing, because according to police, Lil Bape and other Zoo Gang members were also getting busy, striking back and making their presence felt in the same streets where their rivals once held the upper hand. On April 13th, 2023, just before 9 p.m., Philadelphia police were called to the 2300 block of West Montgomery Avenue after multiple 911 calls reported gunfire in the area. When officers arrived, they found 16-year-old Nafis Bertrand Hill lying on the sidewalk with multiple gunshot wounds to his upper body. He was just half a block away from his home. Police rushed him to Temple University Hospital, but it was too late. At exactly 9:13 p.m., Nafis was pronounced dead. Investigators say a great...
Yo, I keep saying, do not go to Temple. If you in Philly and you get plucked and you get shot, you're going to die. They're going to take you to Temple, Frankfurt, or Penn, and you're going to die. You might as well be walking around with a bulletproof vest and sliding in a bulletproof car or something. You're going to die if you get shot in Philly.
Nissan pulled up to the block. Two suspects jumped out and opened fire on a small group of people standing outside. The shooters then fled the scene in the same vehicle. The location of the murder was right outside Acelero Learning St. Elizabeth's School, adding another layer of tragedy. The next morning, the scene was cleared except for torn yellow tape still clinging to the fences. Behind that tape was the ghost of yet another young life taken by Philly's gun violence crisis. At the time of his death, Nafis was one of 7 children under 18 killed by gunfire in Philadelphia that year. Within just a few blocks of where he was gunned down, 3 other juveniles had already been shot earlier in 2023. The community was shaken, but it wouldn't be long before the case took a sharp turn, and 2 familiar names were thrown into the spotlight. Surveillance video, court documents, and witness statements would later paint a chaotic and disturbing picture. Just one day before the murder, on April 12th, Iser Clark, or Lil Bape, and Ranif Allen, HBN, were allegedly seen in a stolen KIA, taken from Drexel Hill. On the night of the shooting, they allegedly
They
returned
talking about a KIA. Kia boys, go ahead, say it. Go ahead.
to the 2300 block of West Montgomery in that same vehicle. According to court records,
going down on that
Nafis
block.
was walking down the sidewalk when the car rolled up, and both suspects allegedly jumped out, opening fire and chasing him down on foot. More than 30 shots were
Damn, they tried to hawk a nigga and gave him 30.
fired. As the police arrived, a KIA with no headlights was reportedly spotted speeding away from the scene, heading the wrong way down Norris Street. Officers pursued it briefly, but the chase was lost. The car was later found abandoned near the 2300 block of Glenwood Avenue, just steps from the Raymond Rosen apartment projects. The police searched the vehicle and found a Glock 27 handgun, and not long after,
They left a gun. Oh
clothing
my God,
matching
they
the
could.
shooters was recovered in a courtyard. Police say the suspects had taken off their sweatshirts and left them behind. Fingerprints lifted from the car matched
Oh, these niggas ain't even good steppers. Oh my God, y'all leaving cars, y'all leaving clothes, guns, fingerprints. They ain't stepping.
Lil Bape and HBN, and cell phone records
I don't think
aligned
they
with
care
the
about
route
getting
taken
caught.
during the escape. Clark turned himself in on May 9th, 2023, at a location on North Broad Street. He was immediately charged with murder, criminal conspiracy, carrying a firearm without a license, carrying a firearm in public in Philadelphia, possession of an instrument of crime with intent, and recklessly endangering another person.
That's a
His
lot of
co-defendant,
shit.
Ranif Allen, who's also believed to be a member of Zoo Gang and affiliated with HBN, remained on the run for a period, but was also wanted on an arrest warrant tied to the same shooting. Despite all of this, the courtroom outcome would take a surprising turn. After almost 2 years behind bars, on April 2nd, Lil Bape pleaded not guilty to his charges, was ultimately found not guilty of all charges.
Yeah, young
While his
boy.
name had already been tied to the streets and his reputation dragged into the spotlight, the legal system didn't deliver a conviction. There are several possible reasons why. For one, although police had fingerprint evidence and surveillance footage of individuals wearing similar clothing, no murder weapon was tied directly to Bape through ballistic testing. The Glock recovered in the stolen vehicle wasn't conclusively proven to be the weapon used in the shooting. Also, while the suspects were seen fleeing and stripping clothes, prosecutors may have struggled to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Bape himself pulled the trigger, or even that he had direct intent to commit murder. In addition, the heavy use of circumstantial evidence, like cell phone pings, clothing descriptions, and group affiliation, may not have been enough to convince a jury without clear forensic proof tying him to the trigger.
I wonder if he had
His
a
defense
PD or a
attorney
lawyer.
argued that he maintained his innocence from the beginning, and in the eyes of the law, that was enough. As for HBN 2418, he was also later arrested and charged in connection to the murder. But unlike Lil Bape, the outcome for him was very different. While Bape walked away from the courtroom legally cleared of all charges, HBN 2418 was found guilty of third-degree murder, conspiracy of third-degree murder, and firearm charges. The two had entered the case as co-defendants, but they left it on opposite ends of the justice system, one acquitted, the other convicted of murder. Regardless of the verdicts, both names remain permanently tied to that deadly night. While Zoo Gang's larger conflict with the Black Flags continues to unfold in the background, this particular case serves as a reminder that not every shooting is a direct product of that war, and not every arrest leads to a conviction. For the family of Nafis Bertrand Hill, the conviction brought a cold sense of justice. A 16-year-old boy was gunned down, while one of the accused walked free. The other was found guilty and taken off the streets for good. What started as 2 young rappers chasing a dream ended in blood, prison bars, and a family left to bury their child. In North Philly, where rap and real life mix too often, this wasn't just another case. It was another reminder of how fast the streets can eat their own. And in the end, Philly was left with another chapter closed, but the city still scarred.
Philly, a
A
wild
teenager's
ass city,
life
I'm
was
trying
taken.
to tell y'all.
One man was held accountable,
No
and
fly
the streets
zone.
moved on. But the pain, the memories, and the cycle all stayed right where they've always been. If you thought this video was good,